one of them are going to be signed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Night Crew. Glad to see you back again. Good to have our excellent panel back with us. I hope everybody's had a wonderful day. Hello, gang. How are you?
Hello. Good.
Good, good.
Excellent, excellent.
So, are you ready to jump in and see what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We're ready.
Okay, the first thing on the agenda, Egypt to deliver limited humanitarian aid to Gaza. Israel said Wednesday that it will allow Egypt to deliver limited quantities of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. The first crack in a 13-day siege on the territory. A massive blast at a Gaza City hospital that killed hundreds the day before put immense strain on Gaza doctors treating the wounded as medical supplies ran out. The announcement to allow water, food, and other supplies came as rage over Tuesday night's blast at Al-Ahli Hospital spread across the Middle East. And just as U.S. President Joe Biden visited Israel in hopes of preventing a wider conflict in the region. They were conflicting claims of who was responsible for the explosion. Hamas officials in Gaza quickly blamed an Israeli airstrike, saying nearly 500 were killed. Israel denied it was involved and released a flurry of video, audio, and other information that it said showed the blast was instead due to a rocket misfire by Islamic Jihad, another militant group operating in Gaza. Islamic Jihad dismissed that claim. Now, this is something that's really debatable, and there's all kinds of protests and uprisings around the world over this. Hamas and the Palestinians in general, no matter if it's Hamas or not, say that it was Netanyahu that did it. You know, it's the Israelis, and that's pretty much common belief over in that area. And a lot of people here in the States, including me, believe that it was the doing of Netanyahu. The man is a crook, he's a criminal, he's crooked, and he's always wanting to have some kind of a war with Iran. So he is wanting to see that escalate, I believe, especially since his corruption trial is on hold for this war. So, you know, he has everything to gain from this politically. And that's what he cares about. So that's my 2 cents worth on it. What do you folks say?
I'm glad Biden went over there to talk to them, and I'm glad that he got Egypt to budge, because Egypt was holding all the supplies for a while. So I'm glad that they decided that they were going to help Gaza.
Well, that sounds good in theory anyway, don't it? You know, I hope they do get some aid in there to them, because they definitely need it. All righty. What do you think, Bob?
I don't know, man. That was a pretty powerful statement you had there at the beginning. I really don't know what to think, to tell you the truth. I'm a pro-Israel guy. They're, you know, the only democracy out there, and I know the other countries would like nothing more than to wipe them off the map. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think, you know, for some reason, God chose Israel and to deliver his message through them to the world, and I don't think Israel's going anywhere. I'm glad Egypt is helping out. Why they're doing it, I don't know. I just hope things don't escalate like everyone else. I know that Iran is a country usually with bad intentions, so I don't put much trust in them at all.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much my 2 cents.
Well, I'm pro-Israel too, I'm definitely not anti-Semitic, but it's Netanyahu that I don't trust. I mean, we all know he's a crook. So,
Mhm.
I'm in favor of the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. But I don't trust Netanyahu, and I certainly don't trust Hamas. So
Yeah.
I would be content to let Hamas and Netanyahu just fight it out and just leave everybody else alone. All right, Michael, what do you think, brother?
Well, it's been a few days after we have digested what happened. Overall, what's continuing, the continuation is what's happening now. More rockets being fired. But what happened with the hospital? Let me mention this. I looked at this, on all sides, and I did my own research with my own counterintelligence sources. And from what I've seen, from what our intelligence forces, intelligence agencies, excuse me, who pretty much agree with Israel intelligence, Israeli intelligence, that it was an accident. It was not them. It was Hamas. The problem with that is I saw the video of how it seemed like the Iron Dome attacked that same missile that dropped. It supposedly dropped on the hospital, but the speed on how you hear it come in doesn't sound legitimately truthful in a sense of what really happened, of where it really came from. Now, I also heard that the only thing that sounds like that is a JDAM bomb from our military to their military, Israel. I don't trust Benjamin Netanyahu. I love the Jewish people. I love the Palestinian people. I just don't trust their governments. Okay? You have to realize history back in 2006, 2006, when Hamas was elected, right? And then Israel kind of stopped them from doing elections and whatnot. So they've been stagnated on that for a while. And there's been also stories where Benjamin Netanyahu backed Hamas back then, leading up for them to take control of the Palestinian Authority. I feel like this is a boogeyman tactic, build up to just justify bombing the hospital, bombing like 6,000 bombs, and we bombed 7,235 bombs in the years in, I think, the last year in Afghanistan before we left. So in a very dense area, Benjamin Netanyahu cannot be trusted. And there are a lot of people from this generation and from before 10 years ago or whatever of this situation of the Palestinians deserve freedom. The Palestinians deserve equal human rights, basic human rights, and they have not been getting it. Now, my grandmother taught me 2 wrongs don't make it right. But in order to solve the situation and to stop this carnage that was about to really fully take place and bring all the major powers into the fold and possibly really kick off a World War III, we have to talk about the real truths of what led up to this moment. What led up to what happened in Israel with the attack and killing all the families, the babies, and all that. It's been an open prison, oppression, and all that. These people, every human being deserves freedom. And if Israel is supposed to be this democracy and whatnot, and their neighbor, you're not treating your neighbors right, and you depriving them of water. I got these Palestinians contacted me during the 2020 election, leading up to now, talking about the water's getting cut off. They can't get no food. They can't get this and that. Leading up way before this. There's no justification, but all I'm saying is, only way to solve this is tell the hard truths and find love and common decency and common sense to find a common thread to heal the broken divisions.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we do.
But Benjamin Netanyahu should not be trusted. And Joe Biden had an opportunity. I mean, he did. He said he forcibly said, "Hey, you got to let these things come in. And, you know, we can't just bomb the hell out of these people." I mean, that's the conversation. I felt like that's how he said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know. So, but with me, I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu is just as corrupt as Donald Trump, but he has power. Donald Trump hasn't. You know, like literal power. You know, of the government. He has it. Now he's in the war footing, and now he can just make anything happen. And he wants to stir the Muslim world on this. He wants a war to happen because that's the only way he feels like he will keep power overall. And I hope that I'm wrong, but hell, after all that I've been through, leading up to now, it seems like that I'm right. So I might be right about this.
Well, Netanyahu and Trump, remember, were very good friends. And
Just like this.
yeah, and
Right.
Trump even helped him to get reelected.
Yeah.
There's a big bond between Netanyahu and Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, Angela, what do you think?
Much prayer. That's all I can say. It's much prayer. And
Yeah.
I just hope that the right things come forward. Can't keep doing wrong and expect right to come. So
Yeah.
no. Somebody gonna have to do something right somewhere in order for things to turn around.
Yeah, they better do it soon.
We gotta keep praying. We gotta keep praying.
Yeah,
We gotta
that's
keep
for
praying.
sure. All right. Anything else on that one?
Nah, I'm good.
But I want to add one more factor, right?
Okay.
You remember when they said the Israeli government, Benjamin Netanyahu said, "This is the real proof that it's not our fault about the bombing of the hospital." Right? They showed video. They showed us the audio about two Islamic terrorists talking or whatever. You probably heard that, but that's all been disputed. But what happened was as soon as the bomb hit, 13 minutes later, there was a official of the deep, the deep parts of the Israeli government spoke about, we bombed that hospital and we killed terrorists. And then after they saw the response of how the world responded, they immediately erased it. And they came up with the videos about the how the rocket came and fell. But the veracity, how it fell with a sound, like it was like directed, like boom, like a air blast. It wasn't like on the ground, it was an air blast. So, I mean, the evidence is clear. I mean, if Israel, excuse me, if Benjamin Netanyahu did this, this is not going to look good. I mean, especially now, just Joe Biden just backed it, right? We say our intelligence and all that. No, we see and hear it and feel it. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. It's not about religion or the Palestinians or the Israelis. It's about Benjamin Netanyahu. It's about the corruption. It's about trying to keep power. It's about trying to start a war, which he's already did. I mean, not started, but he could have. Okay, one more thing. Why did the intelligence? Where was the forces when they invaded? You remember when it was coming across the gate and it was flying over? Where was the soldiers that would monitor the whole border of Israel and Gaza? Where were they? And one person that was a Republican who I can't think of his name, but he was on this one real conservative show. And he said, was there a stand down order that Benjamin Netanyahu ordered during that whole raid, the whole attack that Hamas did? Because they waited 6 hours until something happened, until forces finally showed up. Because am I right or am I right?
I don't remember.
I remember. I looked at it. I'm like, they was attacking, killing people in their homes. Where were the Israeli forces that guard that border 24/7, that has the best intelligence? So you're telling me you failed the intelligence on this, but you have the intelligence, rightfully so, that you didn't bomb that hospital?
Yeah.
All right, then. So come on, man. I'm sorry, but Benjamin Netanyahu is really banking our credibility in the world, making Israel's credibility in the world, and it's going to destabilize the Middle East terrible. So that's what I feel, and hopefully that it don't happen. But Jesus Christ, man, it's scary.
It is very. All right, let's see what's next. This is a freaky story here. Decaying bodies discovered in return to nature funeral home in Denver. The remains of at least 189 people have been removed from a Colorado funeral home, up from an initial estimate of about 115, when the decaying and improperly stored bodies were discovered 2 weeks ago, officials said Tuesday. The remains were found by authorities responding to a report of an abhorrent smell inside a decrepit building at the Return to Nature funeral home in the small town of Penrose, about 100 miles south of Denver. All of the remains were removed from the site as of October 13th, but officials said the numbers could change again as the identification process continues. The updated comes as families who did business with the funeral home grow increasingly concerned about what happened to their deceased loved ones. Local officials said they will begin notifying family members in the coming days as the remains are identified. This reminds me of a bad movie, where Frankenstein takes bodies and does things with them. And I don't know, is it just me or is the whole name of this funeral home kind of freaky? Return to Nature Funeral Home. And then they just leave the bodies there to rot. So I don't know, that's something really strange out of that.
I think something like that happened in Georgia before. It was wow. Bodies was everywhere instead of them. And I think something was wrong with their furnace machine where you burn the bodies or whatever for cremation. So the people that they were supposed to have been cremating, they were just pretty much just throwing them out in fields and stuff. It was crazy. It was real crazy. But yeah, that's sad. I mean, disrespectful and sad.
Yeah.
Especially for the amount of money that people pay to lay their loved ones to rest.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Like $15,000 is a cheap funeral nowadays,
And they're getting higher and higher.
Yeah. And imagine how traumatic this would be on the families, to find out your loved one had just been laying there rotting in the funeral home. All righty, Michael, what do you think about that?
I've heard similar stories, even far worse than this, especially down south in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Louisiana. I think the last time I heard about something similar like this before this moment was about 3 years ago somewhere, but it was sad. But people, that's why you got to, research and make sure where, you bury your plots and research the people and make sure everything's legit on that end. But there's greed. And it's sad that people who work in that fashion, who are entrusted with their loved ones to pay all that money, to abuse that trust, to throw them in the field like they ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Well, when they die, I hope they don't happen to them. So that's how I feel about that. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Kamala?
Yeah, something like this happened up north. I think it was Detroit, and the guy, he was burying the people behind the building of the funeral home, and he was reusing the caskets, the caskets. He was reusing them. So people were thinking they was getting a new casket, and he was reusing it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is sick. And so he got arrested and went to jail but people, they pass nasty and gross because your mind has to be past beyond nasty just to do that. You're heartless and cold when you do stuff like that. So
You don't have a heart. You don't have no humanity in you whatsoever. So, yeah.
All righty, Bob.
I don't know much about this topic, to tell you the truth. I know that it's disgusting on the surface to think something like this could take place, but I really don't have much to say on this one.
Okay. All righty. See what's next. This is kind of a funny story, I thought. Drugs will fall from the sky in College Station, Texas. Amazon will soon make prescription drugs fall from the sky when the e-commerce giant becomes the latest company to test drone deliveries for medications. The company said Wednesday that customers in College Station, Texas, can now get prescriptions delivered by a drone within an hour of placing their order. The drone, programmed to fly from a delivery center with a secure pharmacy, will travel to the customer's address, descend to a height of about 13 feet, and drop a padded package. Amazon says customers will be able to choose from more than 500 medications, a list that includes common treatments for conditions like the flu or pneumonia, but not controlled substances. That's kind of amusing. I wonder if the drug dealers will start doing that too. You know, they can have their own drones and you can order something over the phone, you know, just drop it in
Yeah.
the yard.
A lot of people already been using it. That's what they. I mean, they've been using it. That's how they've been getting a lot of contrabands into the prisons.
Okay.
That has been an issue for a while. So it's been being tested.
Yeah.
That was one of the issues that they've been having here in the prisons. These drones. So folks been testing it for a minute, but I can see there's going to be a lot of issues. I can guarantee you it's going to be more issues than it's going to be beneficial. They trying to take the human aspect of everything out of this world. Everything they want to turn to an AI or a robot.
Yeah,
They don't want us for nothing now.
yeah, can you imagine 50 years from now, we'll have a whole bunch of AI controlled drones running around in the sky. So
There's gonna be a lot of flying going on, especially with these cars that's going to be flying and flying in next year. They're supposed to have the first flying car, Hyundai or somebody, but somebody said they already got flying cars in Massachusetts and in California. So it's gonna be a lot of stuff that we about to see change up.
Yeah.
But they have now all types of programs that there's teaching people how to fly drones. So that's gonna be hot. And they making the drones bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And we're already seeing a lot of cars and trucks driving around by themselves. You know, that's nothing unusual these days.
Yeah.
They having a few accidents too, I hear tell.
But I don't know if I'll be one of I don't think I can be the guinea pig that get in that driverless taxi.
Me neither. And then right around the corner comes RoboCop. So, you know, we know that ain't good, right?
Well, New York got the robot police on their force. They got the dogs. Yeah, New York do.
That little robotic dog, that's kind of cool. I like that.
And then they got the little robot. I think they got like 3 or 4 different types of things.
Yeah.
They was the first ones to roll out. I'm sure some more people done rolled out some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
What do you think, Bob?
Why do they have to limit it to medications? Why can't they deliver candy?
That's a good question.
Well, you
You
know, a
know?
while back they had tried to and this is Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon they were trying to drop different stuff. I don't know why they limited to that. I guess they figured that the medication would probably be a lot lighter and be a lot easier to maneuver than trying to do packages, because at one time they was trying to do packages.
I imagine it'd be good for pizza delivery, that probably.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Especially on game day, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A will
Oh,
probably try to come up with something like that, because they already tried to come up with the little containers that roam around, and people were knocking them over and stealing the content out of it.
I've always said drones make good target practice. Not that I would ever do it, but I imagine some people have. What do you think, Tamla?
Well, it's good and bad at the same time. It's good for those who don't have a vehicle and can't get to the store and to the pharmacy, and those who are a certain age or handicapped, it's good for them. But I'm looking at all the movies that I have seen where the drones were used to hurt people. And that's right there is scary to me. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. Michael?
Yeah, I agree earlier. What y'all said earlier about we let the machines take over more of what human beings are so used to doing. And it seems like to me we're getting lazy. We're allowing the machines to take over, and we're becoming lazy, especially with math and AI of thinking about strategic military approaches or any other approaches when it comes to social, economic developments or whatever. No, AI should help guide us, but not lead us. And I even if if I become president with people's help, that I won't allow AI to take us all over, and especially with the drones. The drones are okay, but I'm just kind of I watched Terminator, so I'm kind of afraid of that moment that might happen, especially if we allow AI to take over our nuclear deterrent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what's next. B-52 bomber will land in South Korea. On Monday, United States Forces Korea reported that a B-52 bomber would land in South Korea at the U.S. Osan Air Base, while also conducting 2 flyovers of the peninsula. It marks the first time that a B-52 capable of delivering nuclear weapons has landed in South Korea, though there have been many B-52 and other bomber flyovers in the past. The last minute announcement that the bomber would land in South Korea came as it is scheduled to take part in a military display taking place during the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition this week. The U.S., alongside the South Korean military, intends to feature other military aircraft and equipment in a display that is above all directed at China. Seoul, however, has remained cautious about directly backing Israel, conscious of the fact that doing so could disrupt crucial energy imports from the Middle East and upset other economic deals, particularly with Saudi Arabia. As I was reading this, I was thinking how's this going to go over with North Korea? They're already paranoid and they're already doing their nuclear testing. So what's going to happen here with this? Are they going to take it personal, or is it going to scare them enough to do something really stupid? I don't know, but to me, it's very, very concerning. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, that's I thought the same thing. What? Never mind China. What about North Korea? Um, I don't know, man. It's I don't know. I do know one thing, that I don't think China, will be deterred by that. That China's going to do what they want to do. I don't think they really care about what the U.S. does at this point. Not under Biden anyway. Maybe under Trump they might, because they might be afraid of him. But under Biden, I think they'll just do whatever they want to do.
Now, and by Putin and what's his name, Jinping or whatever, China and North Korea getting pretty buddy, ain't they? Along
Yeah,
with Russia. That's scary.
yeah.
Okay, Angela.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I said I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm sorry.
Okay. Tamala?
One thing about Korea and China and Japan, their technology is off the chain. And I always watch them. I watch their technology, I watch their weapons. Even though we send stuff to them, we can't, the stuff that they have will blow your mind, because we might be sending whatever over there, but what they have is nothing compared to what they got some stuff. They got some stuff over there. And those who are not really paying attention to them, it's sad, because I watch them. I watched how they train their people. I watch everything. And I'm like, their technology, like, pow. So when people say they number one, you have nothing on them when it comes to those countries.
Yeah.
So I'm shaking my head, because you're talking about a World War III, nobody would be left, because this is crazy right here.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the world leaders are playing a game of chess here lately, doesn't it? And they're just trying to see what they can get away with. All righty. Did I get everybody? Mike?
I didn't say anything about this.
Go ahead, brother. Sorry.
Well, as probably some of us have forgotten, besides the B-2 bomber that's landing in South Korea, we had 2 nuclear submarines that was docked in South Korea early this year. Y'all remember that?
No.
Yep. What? Yeah, really? Well, Google it. It was early this year, probably in I think it was during the summer, June, July, something like August, somewhere in that area, I think, or probably earlier than that. One came, and then the other came. And North Korea was in an uproar. China was in an uproar. So a B-2 bomber landing is not going to make any hell of a beans. I mean, we already gave the weapons to the new weapon systems to Ukraine that President Putin had talked about in an interview. And they should never broadcast. When we give stuff, stop broadcasting stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just use it. Hopefully it works out. Stop broadcasting it. I never understood that. I'm like, why would the president of Ukraine announce, yeah, we got the big rockets from America. We're gonna use them. We're using them now. Okay, don't tell us, just do it. And America agreed. I'm like, it's a lack of leadership on the fronts of what's going on. And I think that the old versions of the old way of thinking, our leadership currently, the 20th century way of thinking, um, and we're in the 21st century of the problems. So the way of their thinking is not going to solve the problems. It's just make it worse, and it's making it worse. We all see it. No matter if it's Democrat, Republican, middle, left, right, whatever. We all see it. It's not working, and the Middle East is going to be just torn apart because we can't just stand up and say, look, instead of bringing those 2 aircraft carriers and whatever, yes, we should have brought them out there. Yes, thank God we did. But also we should have came up with a way to bring up a way of peace, calm down the situation, to de-escalate, and especially over there in North Korea with China. But North Korea is a satellite of China, right? You tell me I'm worrying about China, they got North Korea, the little crazy little brother, to scare us, to keep us at bay. But they can try all we want to, but we're gonna stand with our allies and our friends around the globe, and that's not gonna change under my administration.
All right. What's next? Let's see here. Millions of people have taken to city streets. Global protests against U.S.-Israel war against the Palestinian people. That's interesting wording right there. Intensified Wednesday following the Tuesday bombing of the Al-Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza City by the Israeli military. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, 471 people were killed in the explosion and 314 others were injured. At least 28 people remain in critical condition. While the United States, Israel, and their stenographers in the Western press seek to stampede public opinion into supporting the ongoing genocide against the people of Gaza. Millions of people have taken to city streets, Capitol buildings, and embassies to demand an end to the slaughter. In Washington, D.C., daily peaceful protests have resulted in nearly 400 arrests in the last 72 hours. On October 16th, approximately 1,000 demonstrators organized by 2 Jewish American groups, Jewish Voice for Peace and If Not Now, demonstrated near the White House in protest of the Biden administration's continued support for Israel. Jewish and other anti-war protesters congregated at the corner of 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, where they sang songs calling on President Biden to issue a ceasefire. Interesting. Well, yeah, there have been a lot of protests, not only around the world, but in the United States. I don't know if any of y'all saw it today, but Marjorie Taylor Greene done a little video on her cell phone in the Capitol building today, telling everybody that there was, how did she put it, trying to overtake the government or something like that.
Insurrection. This is the real insurrection right here.
Yeah, insurrection, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was really into that. So, there's a lot of backlash coming out of this. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. What you think, Tamla?
I'm telling you, this is it's a hot mess. It's really a hot mess. And people, the anger is just getting worse and worse and worse, to the point different companies are shutting things down. They're not supporting people anymore because they protesting. One guy who owns Bath and Body Works, he took his money away from Harvard University. So it's going to different companies. It's not just the people on the street protesting, it's people who own companies. They are protesting too. So it's like, and then we got people over here crying because a lot of their people are in a service. They got to go over there and fight in this war. So not just Israel and Palestine losing people. We're losing people. We losing family. We losing friends to this war. And for the leaders to sit back and say, go ahead and fight. Go ahead and fight. You're not out there fighting. You're not out there running in the field, but you're putting our family members out there. Yeah. And you watching them lose their life. And I don't know why they think this is cute and funny. It's not cute and it's not funny. No one wants to lose a loved one. So yes, they're going to keep on protesting because this is like, let's stop. You know, we're all adults. Let's work together. But they don't want to work together. They don't want to stop. They want to continue the fight. And it's just ridiculous. So it's just going to keep on getting worse because people just don't want to see eye to eye. There's no, let's get together. No, they just want to argue, fight, and fuss. So sad.
Even the Republican Party can't get together in Congress long enough to get a speaker. So it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of serious. What do you think, Bob?
I don't know, man. Like Angela said, I mean, this is nuts. I mean, everybody just needs to go home and chill out and watch a ball game, you know, because this is crazy. This is, I don't even know what to say. The world right now is a tinderbox, and I just hope the tensions can calm down and everybody can just chill.
Yeah. Did you see the little video that Marjorie Taylor Greene did today, Bob?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I was just looking at it's a couple of videos up right now.
Did she do a couple? Yeah, I seen one of them just walking around the Capitol building.
Yeah, I see the one they got. She walking around. Yeah.
Up top watching.
Outside, the pro-Palestinian
She's.
march.
I guess she's in the window. She's talking about the pro-Palestinian march outside.
Yeah, saying this answer. That's the real insurrection. There's a real insurrection, America, she said.
Yeah.
You silly. Let me just say this to Marjorie Taylor Greene. You silly twit. Jesus. God bless her. I'm sorry to sound like that, but somebody got to say something about her. Good grief.
You know, it's like how close it's making you think the second coming's not that far off, you know, the way everybody's acting.
Yeah.
Let it. I mean, what we're going through now, I mean, it's total. It's funny and sad at the same time, but there's another word for it. It's just horrific, and we shouldn't be going through this. And the failure of the leadership of the Republican Party, they can't pick a speaker and the Democrats shouldn't even allow. To me, the Democrats shouldn't even allow McCarthy to lead, because if McCarthy they probably talk. He probably said it in public, yada yada yada. But y'all would have had a consensus. You know, the devil that you're working with says the devil that you don't know will come up after you get rid of that devil, and that's what we're facing. Mm-hmm. And I think they're gonna drag this thing out until they wait for the government to shut down, just to protect Trump for the investigation. That's what's going on. And let me just tell everybody this here and now: the investigation about Donald Trump, all the felonies and all that, is not made up. It's not made up. The government just can't just fairy tale this out of fairy dust and just make sure, make this up about a former president. That was his decisions. He thought he can get away with everything he thought he got away with, everything he did, and got people locked up to protect his butt. Period. So there's time to really wake the frick up and say, look, we're in dire straits right now in this country, and when we see the Middle East and everybody's getting involved, and China and Russia, and come on, man, America need to wake up and realize that we get to let go of these people that are lying to us. Because if we don't, we're going to fall, and the world's going to fall with us as well.
All right. Anybody else on that one? Okay. Last but not least, 4 Pepperdine University students were killed. Members of the Pepperdine University community were expected to continue prayer vigils Thursday morning on the California campus of the Christian school after 4 female students were killed when a 22-year-old driver crashed his car into them along the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu on Tuesday night. Investigators say 22-year-old Fraser Michael Baum was speeding westbound in his dark-colored BMW along the highway when he lost control and sideswiped several parked vehicles before crashing into the women who were just walking in the area at the time. They were all pronounced dead at the scene, while 2 others were taken to a nearby hospital, KTLA5 reported. Officials said at a press conference Wednesday the Baum was arrested but later released pending further investigation into the crash. Now, the fact that he was arrested but then released, that to me, that sounds kind of fishy. And he was a young guy driving a BMW, so I'm thinking, okay, he comes to a rich family, so he's going to get away with it, and it's no big deal. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. So, what do you think?
Yeah, he got to have somebody probably somebody in the government.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah,
I should have been. They know he did it. He should have been kept and just like they normally do people that do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So he got to have some ties to something. I
Yeah.
wonder who his granddaddy is.
Yeah.
Or his uncle. Got to be somebody powerful.
Yeah.
Somebody with some money. They got to be sitting on some money or got some pull somewhere.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, he's probably into government. Probably sitting on one of those Senate seats or something.
Could be. Could be.
Got to have some kind of ties.
Yeah.
That's normally what happens. It'll come out. It'll come out sooner than later. Because I know these families not finna let it go.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the community shouldn't let it go. That's the issue I have.
Now,
with a lot of this, a lot of these communities, they see stuff going on and they just keep turning a blind eye. They keep closing their ears. They don't want to hear nothing and they don't want to see nothing.
right.
When it's right before you. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like that is sad. That's sad.
Yeah, it sure sounds like some rich kid's got a rich daddy to me.
And they'll come up with somebody else. They'll come up with somebody else to try to pin it on.
Probably, yeah.
That's what they do. I'm telling you, that's what they do. Just think about all these people. People, I did not realize until I started working with individuals that's incarcerated that I used to hear people say that they innocent. And I used to be like, well, you wouldn't be in jail if you innocent. But the more and more I began to work with people and talk to people, there's so many people that are behind prison walls that should not even be incarcerated. And it's like the government play games with them. I'm working with some individuals in Texas right now, and it's just sad. It's just like they keep turning a blind ear, hoping that these people don't have people on the outside that's gonna go to bat for them. And that's what they depending on, you not having somebody to go to bat for you. Yeah. But if you got somebody that will fight for you, then they gonna do what they supposed to do. But when they think you don't have nobody, they think you ain't got no money, they think you're not educated, they will take advantage of you. Because there's plenty of people that family members in the government that should be incarcerated because they don't did stuff. I sit and I listen to this young lady on one of the podcasts that I'm on, the network that I'm on. She every Sunday she do a podcast on wrongfully and overly incarcerated individuals, and you hear all these stories. And you hear this. I heard this story of this guy out of Philadelphia where his uncle is in something to do with the government, and he committed a crime and they pinned it on somebody else, and they got evidence, and he's still walking around free.
Yeah.
And it's just imagine how many times over and over this happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I pray that I pray that this don't slip. This don't slip, because that's what happened. They hope that it won't make mainstream media, and that it'll be brushed under the rugs, and that people will forget.
Yeah.
So
and most people will.
Yeah.
What do you think, Michael?
Well, first of all, my prayers go out to the families of those lost students that their lives have been taken away. It's a tragedy. It should never happen. I don't know the depths of the story. I haven't heard of it. Maybe we should have heard about it, but it's not been the first. Hopefully, I wish it'd be the last, but it's not going to be. I wish it would be, but it's not. And we got to really have people that can understand these kids and what they're going through, and find common ground to help them solve their issues and solve their problems. But without knowing more about this, I just feel sad for the families, for the loss and everything, and everybody else included.
Yeah.
So do you think that the guy was trying to do something to himself and just lost control? Because
Could be. Could be. They said he was speeding in the first place, so evidently that's one crime right there.
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be speeding up on no coast of California, because they a lot of curves and a lot of embankments that you can roll over off of.
Yeah.
So,
and they all were pronounced dead at the scene, so that tells you he was driving pretty fast right there.
yeah, and hidden parked cars, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you can hit parked cars and still be rolling on down the road and hit 4 people and kill them, yeah, you got to be doing something real fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised we hadn't heard more about this too, because this happened on Tuesday. Here it is Thursday night. So.
But I'm just surprised that they just let him out like that, arrest him and then let him out. Usually people stay in jail for a while after something like that don't happen. They're gonna give them at least about a month or so. They're gonna tie him up with some legal stuff for at least a month while they say they investigating and doing all that stuff, and then they may give him a bail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research on that, because that's sad.
We might have to do a follow-up on this one in a little while.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, that's sad.
Okay, did I miss anybody?
Me, but I just agree with the panel. Very sad story, and we don't know all the facts, but it wouldn't be surprising if what you said, Steve, was what's exactly what's going on. But we really don't know for sure. So, but very sad.
Yeah.
I heard about the story, and I was thinking about the lady here in Ohio, how she was downtown. She was arguing with this lady at the restaurant. When the lady came out, she hit the lady with the car and dragged the lady down the street.
Wow.
Yeah, so they gave her 18 years for
Oh,
killing
the
that
baby?
woman. Yeah, for dragging that woman. They gave her 18 years for dragging this woman down the street, and she only hit one person. This guy hit four. So if he gets away with this, and I think they said he was drunk, so I don't know. But if he gets away with this, yeah, he got people back him up, getting. So I hope he don't get away with it.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
Does anybody else think it was odd that President Biden went over to Israel during a war? I mean, that was really a dangerous move. What do y'all think about that?
I mean,
I think it,
Crazy to me.
I think it's more odd that a lot of those world leaders didn't they refuse to meet with him? They canceled their meetings.
Yeah, in Jordan, they did. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. That was during the hospital, after the hospital situation, and how the response of President Biden before he got to Israel. That's the main reason why they stopped the invite.
Yeah.
But overall, how I see it is sad. I mean, he knew. You look at his face, and when he was reading the script of what he had to say in front of the Prime Minister of Israel, it's like you could see it. And after he left, he got more forcible, saying, "Yeah, I forcibly and directly told Israel, you got to let these humanitarian aid come in." And he told me there's no drawback or whatever. But and told me don't be enraged, don't let the rage control you. He was talking about directly at Israel. He wasn't talking about the Palestinians at all about that. He was talking directly at Benjamin Netanyahu. So he had to go over there. Under that situation, I would have, but I would have done it a little differently. The hug thing after the bombing of the hospital in the eyes of the world, I wouldn't have hugged him. I would have gave a good handshake hug. You know what I'm saying? Not an embrace hug, a good handshake hug. Like we're here, but we're here to talk about what happened in the hospital and find out overall how we can come and de-escalate the situation, not to expand it, not to piss more people off.
Yeah.
And as president, that's when I would have done that and left confident that hopefully I calmed down enough people without, you know what I'm saying? But it just seemed he left to go with what Israel wanted to do, keep bombing Gaza. And again, like I said earlier, Benjamin Netanyahu funded Hamas in the early 2000s. And they gained power and with the Palestinian people, and then Israel, under his government, stopped the elections, stopped them from blocking to change Hamas government for years, for over a decade now. So, or 17, 16 years, something like that. So it just, you can feel it, you can see it, you can feel it. And I think even Joe Biden could a little bit more crisper when he's in front of Benjamin Netanyahu. He had to be there. And but I would have done things differently. But I would have went there as well.
All right. Well, we've covered all our topics, so let's get to the fun part and everybody tell us what you got going on. Angela, would you like to go first?
Sure. Once again, I thank you for opening up your platform to allow us to come on and share our perspective. So what I have going on right now, of course, I am the visionary of the Crew podcast, and we are currently recruiting for some hosts for season 2 that will kick off in February. So anyone out there that is looking to join a podcast family, we are a family of hosts. Join us. And I also want individuals to go over and pre-order our poetry book that's going to be dropping December the 31st. It is called Silently Hurt Inside, Hurt No More, Finding Love. Me along with 39 other poets. We're sharing on the topic of love. And I tell you, God dropped that word in my spirit. He said, let go and let God, overcoming oppression, writing the vision and making it plain, evolving eternally by being equipped, empowered, and encouraged for the next generation. So I'm encouraging everyone to go over to Amazon and grab you a 99-cent e-copy, pre-order you a 99-cent e-copy. You can get an opportunity to hear 40 different perspectives of love. So, and if you like to follow me, you can follow me on Linktree, Queen of Collaboration. Again, Mr. Steve, thank you for opening up your platform and allowing us to be a part of it.
Thank you for being here. I think I'm subscribed to most of your Facebook pages, as far as I know.
Well, thank you. I know I got a lot of them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got a network. Michael?
Well, yes, thank you, Steve. Brother Steve, thank you for allowing us to be on your platform, being on our platform here to talk about the real issues that make common sense to Americans that really need to hear the
Oh
real
yeah,
truth.
he got the batting glove.
No,
Yeah.
seriously, to uncover all the clock, 'cause you don't hear this conversation on the news. So this is a great platform, and I'm just grateful and thankful for the opportunity. Now, I am a candidate for president of these United States of America again for 2024, like I was in 2020. The reason why I'm running because we're lacking unity, and with my family history kin to the sons of the American Revolution, kin to President George Washington through his mother, and kin to Robert E. Lee, the General of the Confederacy. I believe that with my family history, my story, and the balls that I had stood up against the former president threatening my life, that's why I have a $2 billion federal lawsuit against the Justice Department of the cover up under Joe Biden's Justice Department to keep my story from coming out so he could retain the presidency. I say no. After what we see in this world, I've already stepped up more so than ever. My lawsuit will come out as Landingham versus Department of Justice. It's like landing the plane, going ham versus Department of Justice. And it's under a Freedom of Information Act under the jurisdiction of a federal question. Google all that and you'll see what it means. Landinghamcase.com is where you can see the text messages between me and the former president, which the Secret Service came here to my house as a under a threat assessment as the presidential candidate and said it was him, and only the FBI can release it. But the weaponization of the Justice Department has been hard on me, but it's not the government, it's just the leadership. And finally, I've waited almost 5 years for my story to come out. Now it's really breaking through, and I'm going to win the lawsuit. I'm going to use that money to fight for justice for all Americans, to become your next commander-in-chief for justice for all, and try to make changes through when it comes to race, when it comes to political disagreements, especially what's going on within the world. We got to have sound new leadership that can see the foresight of the problems that lie ahead and find solutions to solve them.
All right. Pamela?
I am the pastor and have outreach ministry of Come Home, Stop Talking About It. And we give out clothes and food and try to help people as best as we can. I'm also an author. I have various books for all shapes, sizes, and ages on Amazon. I'm also a gospel singer and writer. I have one single out called When I Was Nothing, God Loved Me. And I just love being here. Thank you so much. I love history. Been an educator since 1990, so just history is like fun for me. I try not to, get a debate, but I just love history. So thank you very much.
All right. Bob?
Well, thank you, Steve, and it's always nice to exchange ideas with everyone. If you want a little getaway, a lighthearted, connection to nature, I have a book out called The Flicker in the Water on Amazon. where we talk about the fish and the ocean and have a few lighthearted laughs and some spiritual lessons as well. And I enjoy being on here and talking to everyone. And everyone have a good night.
All right. Thank you all for being here as usual. It's always good to have the discussions and see your smiling faces. So I'll say good night to you, and hopefully we'll see you Sunday night. And everybody that's tuned in, thanks for tuning in. We're always glad you're here. Tell everybody about the night crew. We will keep you informed. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, good night.
Good night.